معرفة.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In this lesson, let us discuss about three important concepts. The first is the concept of Wakala, which easily could be understood as the concept of agency. The second is the concept of Waad, which could be defined as a unilateral promise. The third is the concept of Kafala, which could be defined as guarantee. So these are some important concepts which we need to understand, and we need to understand the principles behind these concepts and how these concepts are applied currently in the Islamic finance industry. Let us quickly understand the concept of Wakala, which is an agency concept. So in terms of its application, as we have understood, Wakala is nothing but a concept of agency in which one party is appointed as an agent and the other party is the principal. So the principal appoints the customer, for example, in this case as its agent, to invest the funds in some projects. So the agent invests the funds, and whatever returns are generated from the project, those returns are passed back to the principal. An agent needs to be given a fee for providing its services, and this fee can be, and we have seen that in the modern Islamic contracts there is some nominal fee which is paid to the agent to act as to take the responsibility of the agency. One important point we have to note is that the agent cannot provide any kind of guarantee. The agent is just representing the principal, and the agent is doing its responsibilities and duties in accordance with the agency contract. Anything which is beyond the control of agent, the agent cannot provide a guarantee for that. So for example, the agent cannot say that I am investing the liquidity in a project and the project will surely provide a return of X percentage, or the investment which I am investing in the project always will remain as is and there will be no loss in the project. So these kind of guarantees cannot be given by an agent. Let us discuss about Waad. Waad is basically a unilateral promise provided by one party in favor of the other party. For example, this party who is a lessee in the transaction, for example, undertakes to purchase the underlying leased asset after the maturity of the lease term. That could be unilateral undertaking. There could be unilateral undertaking, for example, by this party mentioning that after 6 months this party would undertake to purchase this currency against the other currency at an agreed exchange rate. It is again a unilateral promise. So the nature of the promise could be anything, but the basic principle is that the Waad is a unilateral promise. It is not a bilateral promise. It is not a contract. It is binding only on one party, and this party unilaterally undertakes in favor of the other party to execute or to perform certain action in relation to the transaction. So this is basically a Waad. So one important point which needs to be kept in mind with regards to Waad is that the Waad should not be bilateral in nature. It should not be contractual in nature. It should always be unilateral in nature. And the event for a Waad should not be same for both the parties. So in case if there in a transaction, if there are two undertakings, one is a sale undertaking, other is a purchase undertaking, the events which would trigger these undertakings should be different. They should not be similar. Why they should not be similar? If they are similar, then it would become a bilateral contract. So a Waad is not a bilateral contract, is a unilateral undertaking given by one party in favor of the other party. This is Kafala, and Kafala basically means a guarantee. Now we need to understand that in a guarantee basically a party undertakes to fulfill an obligation of another party. So if we take this as an example, this is an Islamic bank, and this Islamic bank has provided financing to its customer using any of the Islamic structures. Now this customer is supposed to pay back that money to the Islamic bank. Now this customer is supposed to pay back that money to the Islamic bank. Now this obligation, okay, of payment of this customer can be guaranteed by another entity. So this is a guarantor. So this guarantor is providing a guarantee that in case if this person fails to make the payment to the bank, then the guarantor will make the payment. So this is basically how the guarantee is practiced in Islamic finance transactions. And one important point which needs to be kept in mind in guarantee is that guarantee cannot be given in a certain trust-based transaction. So for example, in a mudaraba, the mudarib cannot give a guarantee. In a wakala, the wakil cannot give a guarantee. But these guarantees are basically like third-party guarantees which are being given to the creditor, okay, in favor of the debtor. So in case these are like a third-party guarantees which are given by the guarantor in favor of the creditor for the payment obligation of the debtor. So basically the concept of guarantee is recognized in Islamic law, provided certain conditions are fulfilled. And one important point which needs to be kept in mind is that according to IOF, charging a fee for providing a guarantee is not allowed. So this guarantor, if it provides a guarantee, okay, to fulfill the payment obligation of the another entity, so for providing such a guarantee, the guarantor is not entitled to charge a fee. But certain Sharia scholars have allowed for the guarantor to charge a fee because the guarantor, for the purpose of because the guarantor, when it is providing a guarantee, has to do certain activities in terms of the due diligence of the customer, in terms of some paperwork, so on and so forth. So therefore there is certain effort, and so because certain costs are involved, hence the certain Sharia scholars allow that in commercial transactions a guarantor can charge a fee for providing a guarantee.